it's just what is happening right now. And
Mhm.
able to let people know that there is an option and a solution. Particularly, this is an investment. This is not something that you do and change and just put a wig on and take off. This is
Yes,
identity. This is identity.
it
And
is.
so for the identity to be pretty much, I don't want to say taken away, but that's what it
Mhm.
feels like.
Diminished. It's definitely been diminished. It's been tampered with.
But so I use this little band to kind of give myself more fullness around my crown. But you can see
Mhm.
here
Yeah.
that I don't have a grid anymore,
Wow. Okay.
and it's thinner on the right side. Okay, my back is pretty full, but I don't have a grid anymore. And so that's when I started losing my grid, I knew that it was just going to be a matter of time. So I
Welcome to Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by.
Hey, darling, how are you? Oh my God, it seems like forever since we talked.
It's been maybe 4 or 5 years, Angela.
It's been longer than that because I've been in Galveston now 9 years.
It's been a while. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, look at you. I'm so glad to have you on today. You look amazing, as always.
Mm. Thank you, thank you. You have a wonderful memory. You remember I used to be so big into cooking and cookbooks and
Yeah, because I got one of the cookbooks that you recommended, and then I think we were doing some type of assessment where you were talking to me about
uh,
the British Meyer and so many other, assessment related sort of things, and we kind of resembled each other, and so that's how we connected from the channel.
yeah, yes, yes. So and now I'm doing that thing that I was doing assessment wise, I now do full time. So I'm a CPA, accounting, finance for years and years and years. And now God just kind of led me to follow my heart, my passion, and I'm having fun doing it.
So please share with everyone who's watching. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
My name is Angela Curry. I am a holistic career and life coach. Again, like I said, I started out. I still maintain my CPA certification, and would do my coaching part time. So I finally said yes to me and doing what I really wanted to do full time. So I help people. A lot of what I do right now is helping people with their career transitions and resume reviews and assessments and that sort of thing. And particularly since the pandemic, a lot of people are really open to really deciding what it is that works best for them and what they
Right.
want to do in their lives and their careers, because so much of what you do in your career impacts other areas of your life. And
Right.
so while the pandemic has been really, really rough and we've got definitely scars from living through the time that we're living in right now. It leaves scars, that kind of stuff.
It does.
But
It does.
a lot of people don't have the tolerance or the patience for some of the narratives that were being propagated before. People are really looking more into self and what works for me and self-preservation, me and my family. So while it sometimes people would love to hear what I would have to share, but it would be sort of like this, oh, well, that's nice, but that doesn't really apply to me. But now when I talk to people, they're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you
It's
doing?
interesting. It's interesting that the vibration has been raised on the planet. And people are trying to live in more alignment with what their heart wants. And so it's actually a perfect time where people are more open to things, like you said, that they weren't before. Angela, how would people contact you if they're interested in your work and want to work with you?
Oh, of course, of course. Thank you so much. My website, that's probably the easiest way. My
Okay.
website is careerconnectionco.com, and I'll
Mhm.
spell it careerconnectionco.com, or my cell number is 678-778-9635. You just call me directly, leave me a message, and I'll get back with you. I
Experience the I Am Melanin magic difference. This client had been experiencing long-term hair loss for over 10 years and was not able to grow hair. After using the I Am Melanin Magic's magical hair growth serum for only 8 weeks, these were his results. I am Melanin Magic, and so are you.
And
I'll
you said 9635?
Yes, 9635. So when I left, I lived in Atlanta for 27 years. 27 years, believe it. Everybody thought I was crazy when I decided to leave.
And it's the best thing you ever did.
It was good for me. I live in Galveston. I'm close to the water. I'm really a water person, and
Mhm.
it was something that has really soothed my soul. And so we were talking about my journey from the hair journey, which has been it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of
Mhm.
fun, but I had some things kind of shift, pivot in a way that wasn't so positive, and I really needed to be in a place where my
Mhm.
soul was really being fed. So for me, being close to water allows me that.
Yeah, I think I remember having that conversation about the water because I love water. Now, I've since moved to the country. I'm in the
Hmm.
boonies, which I love, just lots of beautiful views and grass and lush. But I understand that totally. It's got
Hmm.
to do what the soul needs.
Yeah. No, I do miss Georgia because I like to go hiking. I'm not a big hiker, but I do like the outdoors and being out
Right.
in the woods, and it soothes me. Me and a friend would go up to Lake Burton and hike, and I
Okay.
have a picture where I'm sleeping out on a rock, just kind of letting go and just letting the water rush around the rock. I miss that. So I haven't done that in a long time. Like I said, I've been here in Galveston now, like going on 10 years. Be 10 years.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So time is really flying, isn't it?
Flying, flying,
So
flying.
it's amazing. You made a major life transition. People are now being open to more transition. And here you find yourself in a place where you're transitioning with your hair too. And it's interesting because my transition has just been a year. And I also shifted and have continued to shift. And I needed something that more matched where I am today, you know?
Hmm. I went from May of 2006. I had a big health challenge. I had permed my hair for a lot of years, and that's what took me to locks. So I actually grew my hair, my perm out under a weave. Now, I normally have like shoulder length hair anyway. I've always had a full head of hair and it's kind of a soft grade, whatever. And so when I had this health challenge pop up, I changed my diet, I changed my lotions, anything touching my body, I changed everything to organic, natural. So I didn't know what I was going to do with my hair, but I knew that I wasn't going to continue to perm it. So, and sometimes that's all you need to know sometimes to get on the journey of where you're going to
Yeah.
go, knowing what you're not going to do. So I knew I wasn't going to continue to permit. So in '06, I started getting really, really healthy and started uh, getting a weave. But then my natural hair got as long as the weave, and it took about
The
2 years. So it took about 2 years for it to grow out, and then it got to be like, okay, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
Then I had a friend who was a singer. She had traditional locks, and I didn't really think that was quite my look. But I knew that if it was something that would allow me to kind of have a little bit of a style and I could kind of do whatever, that I would be open to it. So when I mentioned it to her and asked her about it, she goes, "Oh, you would look really good with Sisterlocks." I didn't know what that was, and I said, "Well, what is that?" I said, "No, never mind. I'll research it. I'll figure out what that is." So I found somebody and I called two or three different people. I just researched out on the site, found two or three different people, and then I found one person that was willing to be patient with me to walk me through and answer all of my questions. And when I realized that she was willing to answer all my questions, I had a lot of questions. I mean, I had a lot of hair. So I was
I
like,
bet.
what is this? What is this? I need to understand. What does this mean? And another reason why I didn't want to do necessarily the traditional lock route is because I had real bad dry scalp. So I was like, okay, if I can't really wash my hair on a regular interval while it's locking, that's not going to be a good look for me. So when she mentioned sister locks and that you could continue to wash your hair more regularly, I was like, okay, I'm going to go look into that further. So I found someone that was willing to answer all of my questions, and of course, I did it. I finally so what happened was I stopped weaving my hair, and I went like 6 weeks with just two strand twist and the whole thing. Well, you know, in Atlanta, you got to have something to help you with your right. You can't just be out here just loose, right?
And the
So
humanity too.
in the humidity, there was just you just got to have something. So I went 6 weeks, and then I said, okay, I had already done my research on the sister likes. I said, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I said I was in a time period where I could could do something experimental in my mind like that. And if I didn't like it, I could just start over. I was already starting over, so I could just start over.
Right.
Well, it took me about 3 months to really fall in love with it. So, when you first get your sister lock, she looked like a wet chicken. So you
Yes.
go through the wet chicken phase, and it took me about 3 months to really fall in love with it. And I will admit that I really had a hard time in the beginning because I didn't recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. And so I had a lady who was doing my two strands twist. She saw me. She called me out. She goes, "Look here." She goes, you can't be walking around looking like that. You have got to get your natural hair swagger on, and right now you don't have it." And I
Wow.
went, "Right, you got to have it." And so when she said that, I said, "I know. Where do I go get it?" Because I knew that I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I knew it. And so when she called me out like that, and I said I had to come home and I had a come to Jesus meeting in the mirror, and I was like, it doesn't matter what's going on with my hair. I am still the diva. Clean it up, clean it up. And then after that, I was fine. But so fast forward, that was '09. So I've been Sister Lock now for 15 years. Now, about
Wow.
4 years
15
ago,
years.
4 years ago, I noticed here through my top some thinning. And so I didn't think a whole lot of it because the ladies in my family, that was just like the thing. A lot of my mother, my aunts all had thinning, crown thinning, around the edges thinning. So I
Okay.
thought, okay. So I started getting worried. I started doing the shampoos and different oils and things, trying to keep enough thickness here on my hair. Well, it's just gotten to the point to where it's really, 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 really thin through the top. Yeah, yeah. And then the pain, I would always have to take pain relievers at least an hour before my retights so that I could sit and tolerate it.
You know what's interesting, Angela? You, like me, we've had hair. Like
Mhm.
we've had hair. So, and it took quite a bit in us maintaining our hair. Now, mine fell out because I couldn't keep my hands out of it. And that's how I ended up with Sister Lock. But the point is, we've been there, we've done that, we grew up with it. So when something starts to shift, we
Mhm.
kind of what's going on. And we're not willing to just go down like that. What was it like having to take pills before your retighten?
Oh, that was the only way that I could get through it. And so I had her to ease up the tightness, but even still, and she doesn't use the traditional tool. She uses a retightening tool. But I just thought that I had a sensitive scalp, and every once in a while I would just let her know, oh, that's a little, that's a little tight. But I hadn't thought in terms of the damage to the follicle. That
Oh,
hadn't occurred to me as an eventuality until she said it. You're damaging
your
your
follicles. And
follicle.
it's serious because your follicles are your foundation. And here's the thing that we've become so disconnected with our hair, we forget that our cells are conscious. They are eavesdropping on everything that is going on in our reality, no different than our heart, our digestive tract, and everything else. So when they cry out and we continue to hammer on them, eventually they say, you know what? It's time out for this. I'm checking out, and the hair starts to fall, the follicles die, and you're fully traumatized. And the interesting thing, Angela, is that by the time you see the hair loss, it has happened on the energetic level with micro tears long before that.
Yes. But this, I've got more thinning on the right side here.
Repeat what you said because there's an energy out there that's trying to keep this from, or either our energy is so powerful, the two of us, our vibration is so powerful, we got some interruptions going on.
Of course. And I believe that.
I'm
I
serious.
truly believe that. I really
I'm
do.
laughing, but I'm serious.
So I use this little band to kind of give myself more fullness around my crown. But you can see here
Wow.
that I don't have a grid anymore,
Wow.
and
Okay.
it's thinner on the right side. Okay, my back is pretty full, but I don't have a grid anymore. And so that's when I started losing my grid, I knew that it was just going to be a matter of time. So I like curls, and I wear it curly to keep it full. And so my solution to cover this up is to put it in a band I take a little part here, pull it up in a little band, like when we were earlier, you couldn't really see all,
Right.
but that's my solution is to
So you
band.
were able to, you would take the band. How were you using
So,
the band?
so here's what I would do. Well, this is my little quick hairstyle right here. I would take just this top part and just gather up just this on the top, and you can see that thinness going through there, right?
Right.
You can see that thinness going through there. I pull this up. I've gotten good at disguising and covering up. It's like the men with the bald spot. They
Yeah,
pull
yeah,
one part of the hair over to the top, and I
yeah.
put a little band on it, and I pull this back a little bit, and I play around with that band
Wow.
and pull some of this hair forward so it covers some of that under the band. You see what I'm doing? I pull some of that
Yes.
forward, girl. Well, you know how creative we are,
Angela, this is quite a hack. This is
girl.
an excellent hack.
I'm covering that up. What?
That's why when you came on, I
That's why
couldn't
you
really
can't see it. That's why you can't see it because I've gotten good at covering it up. What?
That's hella creative.
I'm trying to keep my cute. I'm sorry.
Look, I know that's right. It actually gave you fullness up here in the top.
This is
It's
full.
like when we used to hairspray it up. We would hairspray it up to lift it. Yeah, you have lift. You are wow. So that loss of the grid is that's another sign. That's another sign when you start losing the grid. It's because the hair is thin.
I lost my grid a couple years ago, but now I'm perfectly fine. You can't tell me I'm not cute. What?
Look, okay, I got a
But
point. I'm
you
on that
don't look
twin
too
side.
close. Don't look too close though. I take this little band off and you start looking down in here. It's like, what's that? What she got going on? But and I would make sure, and I'll turn around. So I make sure that the strands that I pull through, and I'll turn around because I make sure that even in the back, like that's from the side, you can't really tell.
Right,
That's how I and see even here. You
that is yes, yes, yes.
But that's how I cover. That's my coping to cover it up. And even from this side, girl, I had to get genius with this thing. What?
You did, Angela. You have been going in.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. The women that I talk to who are like us, the women that I talk to who, they got kind of got a little bit of what some people might call that diva thing. I don't know if diva is a compliment. I don't want to be a diva
I
if
don't
it's not a
care.
compliment. But the point is, we're particular. We're meticulous. We don't play. I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. You understand? That's just bars. That's what I believe. How I do one thing is how I do everything. So if you're looking for a great career coach, you better call Coach Curry because how she does this is how she's gonna do you and make your life over. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm gonna
But
be creative. I'm gonna figure a way through.
you're gonna get the job
Round, if
done.
it's up, down, if it's up, yeah. We gonna figure it out.
And see, we are the pioneers and the trailblazers. We are on the front lines. Do you understand that, Miss Angela? You realize that you're on the front lines.
Hmm.
Because everybody's not ready. Everybody can't take the information. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. You, like me, you heard the call. It was like Angel Gabriel blowing the trumpet. I heard the call and I heard it was familiar. It was like something in my heart opened. I was like, what is that? Whose voice is that? Her voice sounded like music to my ears. No lie. And I was like, wait a minute. I was washing my car outside, chilling on a beautiful day last spring. And my YouTube was going and she just showed up on the timeline and I heard a voice. I was
Yeah.
like, whose voice is that? I stopped what I was doing. And then I turned around and began to walk to the phone. And when I realized what she was talking about, honey, I ate up all her videos. Within 2 hours, I was on that phone. By that weekend, I was getting trained.
Oh.
I was not playing because I could see the train wreck. Do you understand? I could see the train wreck. I was not playing. You only have to tell me something one time. That's what I'm talking about with you. A word to the wise is sufficient.
Lights, camera, action.
Angela, let me ask you this: when you were experiencing the loss, did you keep your locks? Do you have them?
Here's what's crazy. I don't see hair. I don't, and Melissa asked me, she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I don't have any locks falling in and around me at all." So then she had to ask a question. "What do you think your loctician is doing?" I said, I'm going to tell you what my experience is. I do not see fallen locks. I don't.
Mhm.
I have not. Maybe one in the past 4 years, maybe. But I don't see hair falling away. I don't. So, and not that I'm saying anything about my loctician, because I'm not, but I don't see hair fall. But I clearly have thinning in the top of my head.
Checking my connection. Are you back in yet, Angela? Can you be able to hear anything, Angela? Are you there, Angela? Can you hear me? I think we're reconnected. We're about to reconnect, but Angela, can you hear me at all? Can you hear me at all? I think we're coming back online. I wonder if this is related to, yeah, I think you're coming back on. So I should be able to hear you because I see we're at 82%. I'm seeing 82%.
Because I rebooted my internet this
Seems
morning because I knew we were going to be recording. So
yes. And I know we had a fiber go down last night, so I have a backup router in the event. I have a backup router, but they were supposed to have fixed the problem yesterday. Now I see you now. Can you see me,
I can
Angela?
see you and hear you. You're kind of
Okay,
pictures
good.
kind.
You were saying I was asking you what happened to your
Yeah, I don't
locks.
honestly. And so I don't. I've not. I've probably seen one lock, and really, I don't. I know my loctician has been combining through the top of my head, but I don't. I have not seen locks, and so Melissa did ask me. She goes, "What do you think that maybe they're coming off during your retimes?" I said, I've not seen locks on the floor. I have.
Because one thing is for sure is when the locks in the hair starts to become bare and we start to see scalpiness, there used to be locks there, which means those locks had to fall.
But I haven't seen them.
And you notice when they're doing the relocking, the retightening, they're moving so fast, the hair that's weak is gonna snap right out of the root.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not seen it.
That's a difficult one. You know,
Mhm.
those locks go somewhere. Cause I know you would notice if your lock fell and you were in your car or you were in your
That's a,
bed, you would
that's a
see.
whole sermon. That's a whole prayer session. Oh my goodness.
I remember when I used to do the box braids when I wasn't doing I would let them just get lots of new growth and some of them would drop. I was
Like the whole day. Oh, oh, any lock. Now, how many I got on my head? Any lock will cause trauma. That's traumatizing.
it,
It is. I haven't seen a lot. So
how many locks do you think you started out with in the beginning?
never got a count. Um,
Okay.
I never got a count. I had a big head, so I probably sure had a lot of them.
A lot. So you never saw a
Never
lock, even when you went for your retightening.
saw a lot. See anything falling out in my tub? I don't see anything in the floor, but I've got thinning through my lots of things. And so my last birthday, I had said I'm going to give it one more year. My birthday was in October, and it was getting to the point to where it's like, okay, I'm seeing too much scalp. I'm going to give it one more year, and I'm going to start cutting it. I was going to start shortening it and start cutting it off to just cut it off. That's what I was the plan. Give it another year.
Angela, that had to be an emotional
Very.
decision and an emotional journey that you've been on in the last few years. I
Yeah.
know that was just heartbreaking because our experiences are in our lives. We
Yeah.
can look at our lives and we can see corresponding periods in our lives. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. And I love my life. I love my look. I absolutely love it. But I didn't want to be that person that was going to continue to be just patchy because like through here it's really, really thin. And I actually use a little band to kind of pull it up to give me fullness around the top of my hair. So it does, you can't tell how thin it really is, but it's gotten really, really thin through the top. And so it's funny because it's like when I made the decision that I was going to give it another year, knowing how much I love my hair, circumstances and events, I believe in God. So God heard me, knowing that that's not something I really wanted to do. And I was doing a YouTube search and something popped up, and I saw you interviewing with Melissa White,
Yolanda, or was it Miss Blake's?
Miss,
Melissa.
with Melissa. And when I said, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to ask more questions. And then that's when I reached out to you, and then you remembered me. And then I have since had a session with Miss Melissa, and she is, oh my God, that was,
Isn't she amazing?
she is absolutely amazing. I was crying at the end because I felt so much of a release, relief that there
Yeah.
was, I had an option to pursue that would be something valid for me, that would maybe allow me, even though I've had the thinning, that would allow me to still maintain my locks. And so I love my look. And so, and what's so crazy is when I first got my locks, a lot of people who knew me before, because like I said, I have full shoulder length hair, and they were like, "Oh my God, why would you do that to your hair?" Da, da, da. Fast forward, those same people today, they look at me and go, "Oh my God, I can't picture you any other way." And I'm like, it's a good thing I had my own mind when I decided to do it. If I had it myself, you know, I would have
Yeah.
done it.
And just like now, you have your own mind and you're moving into a place, and Melissa's gonna hold the space for healing. She
Yes,
is so good at that. I
yeah,
mean, I know, and I don't know how it was for you. You can talk more about it, but I know when I came across her and our lives and our paths intersected, it was such a resonance
yes.
at such a deep level. There was no doubt in my mind that that was the direction that I was going to try to head off of what I know is an eventuality. I don't care what people say and how they want to deny it. It is an inevitable end. It's just a matter of time. You had a head full of hair like me. I have a head full of hair. You really don't, you take care of your hair. You've done every single thing. Your hair is a part of your identity. And over time, a little bit after a little bit, the constant rituals that we have to do to maintain it are the very things that cost you your hair.
I got really, really emotional. I thanked her just profusely for doing what she has done to allow me to see that. And then it's just the ease of it, just the program 4 times a year. I was like, okay, I get my retypes every 6 weeks. So when I got the week 7, I started getting nervous.
You started panicking. That's
I was
that's
like,
usually
okay,
the way it goes.
I normally, it was like,
What's going on? I'm 3 days over now. It's 2 weeks. Oh my God! Because we've been programmed to think that new growth is a bad or
and that,
something we need to curtail.
yeah, yeah. I started noticing it right through the top about 4 years ago when I went, oh no, So I stopped dyeing it. And you see, I've got some dyed ends here. So I stopped dyeing it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to stress it with dye anymore, even though I love my color and I love my dye. I'm kind of ombre now, kind of
It's
ombre.
beautiful.
Thank you. But I was like, I was trying to stop doing anything that would cause any more stress to it. But it really didn't occur to me because I've had braids before. I did weaves before. Even with the weave, when you braid down the weave, that's stress and tension to get it tight so that you can really. So all of that for decades is just something that had been normalized and not put in a context of damage. I
Yes.
didn't think of it.
We don't think of it because we're used to the pain. And I used to do hair weaves. I did them for myself, and I used to get paid in college. I used to work in my aunt's shop in Lola's Looking Glass in downtown Philadelphia doing weaves and braids. I used to do weaves all the time in college.
And if
And
you
so
miss
you're
what
right. We get trained for the struggle life,
time,
struggle of the struggle hair, all of this struggle. And we begin to normalize it, and it's not normal. It actually disconnects us from our bodies, which disconnects us from self. And then it becomes destructive.
yes, 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 yes. But yes, I had convinced myself I was just going to rock a little bob, and then when it got too thin, I was going to cut the bob off and do a little fro, get some big earrings, and keep it rocking. That was the path that I was thinking. After my birthday in October this year, I was
I
going to
know
start
when I see
bob.
you, I think lots. Like when I saw your picture, I remember the first picture. We exchanged pictures because you said, when I saw you on YouTube, we look alike. And I
Yes,
was like, that's my twin. That's my sister from another mother, right? And so I know you and your personality, your energy, like me. That's why I became so incessant upon doing things that were going to preserve it and prolong the journey and keep the hair healthy. And I was so ripe when my path intersected with Melissa. It took me no time. I was like this. I knew it. It was like an answer to a prayer, just like you. Just like you.
yes, very emotional. I was like, okay. And then when she said she's going to train you on how to do it for your hair. And it's meant to be easy. That was the one thing that she kept emphasizing. You're meant to tune in. You're meant to really have a conversation with your hair to see if it's ready, and then you're meant to have the technique that works for your hair.
Yes. When I tell you, your hair will love you and your hair will grow. What is the word? Proliferously. I'm making up the word. It will proliferate. It will become more abundant. You will not realize where your hair might have been thinning when you had sister locks until you transition over to knotted locks. And your hair starts to grow in places where, like, I've got some new locks. Like, I love to show this little one right over here on the side. And I'm coming up on a year. I didn't even start this until several months ago. And look at the length of that. You see that?
I
You
love
see that? I've got another one coming. So your hair will be so grateful because think about this. It's like self-harm.
hmm
When we are self-harming, we're disconnected from self. We have to really examine what makes us continue to normalize something that is not normal for us or for anybody else on the planet. When the body says ouch, it's
ouch.
a sign that we're supposed to listen, right?
Yes.
And we do everything we can to keep from coming to terms with the fact that this is not good for me. This my hair is saying no, my scalp. I mean, I've had Angela so many hundreds of ladies. They've left with sores,
hmm
scabs, blisters, red spot, like the pain.
hmm
And then the hair is then styled and put in cornrows with the sister locks, with the pain after the retightening. Then they're given an updo or a style or whatever, which increases the trauma.
hmm You talk about pain and suffering. I think I read somewhere that uh, when you don't address the pain, then it becomes suffering. So we're literally suffering. Like when you get the pain, it's a signal to stop or change. What was it? Something about a rock in your shoe. The rock in the shoe, okay, that's going to cause you pain. But you continue to walk with the rock in the shoe and not remove the rock out of the shoe, then that becomes suffering. And
Yeah.
so normalized suffering.
And this is happening. Do you have any idea how important you telling your story is today? Do you?
Now, well,
Do
I
you have any idea
have
how
it.
what you represent, your look? You're that classic woman that's going out there. She's got her own business. She's an entrepreneur. She's making all these decisions in her life. She's leveled up. Has done everything the right way. Okay. Here you are, like you're the epitome of this transformational, evolved woman. You sharing your story, the way you're sharing your story is huge, Angela.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's huge. You have no idea how many women, the women that I talk to, when I tell you, they have cried.
Oh yeah, it's
They
emotional.
have been in tears. They have sent pictures. They don't know what to do. I mean, there's so many women that through you will be able to share in holding the space for you, but also be able to see their story through you. I'm one thing. I've been talking about this for 5 years now, but you are someone who is
Yeah.
the poster child.
Yeah. Yes.
When you start nodding, when I tell you free, when I tell you your hair won't be a thing anymore.
Ah,
It's first of all, it's got an addictive zen. It puts you in an addictive zen space. Your
yeah.
hands grow eyes. You
Yeah.
don't need a mirror. You need no tools.
No mirror. I was like, what do you mean
No,
no mirror?
don't use a mirror. That is the best way to sabotage your knots. Don't use the mirror at all. You're gonna get over a matter of weeks and months. You're gonna get a rhythm. You're gonna learn your hair. You're gonna learn when your hair says no, no. Your hair is going to be teaching you now. I'm so serious.
I love
But
it.
your story
I
is
love it.
going to help hundreds of thousands of women. I'm so serious because there will come a time, because see, this is also part of the awakening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anyone says. I know in my spirit what I'm here to do at this particular juncture.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what Melissa's here to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is also a message that not everyone can hear
Mm-hmm.
because that's the way change is. But this is an evolution of sorts in a massive, massive way because this is putting your hair back literally in your hands. Angela, when it becomes so easy to you, you might just be. I have had to stop myself. I might get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, this baby's growing quite a bit faster than the others. Let me knot this. I mean, you figure there's 60 seconds in a minute. If it takes you less than 10 seconds to do one knot, whenever I would do my own retightenings, it could take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. You're talking about your whole head,
Yes.
like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yes. Yes.
No worries. Life is ease.
Oh, yes. That's what. And I kept trying to ask all these questions, and Melissa was like, "Why are you looking for the problem? Why are you trying to focus on the problem?
Yeah.
Don't focus on the problem." I
Mhm.
said, "And I got this one that's really, really thin over here." It's like, am I going to be able to fix that?" She goes, "You focus," and then I couldn't find it. So when I was talking to her, I kept trying to find this one that had a little
Couldn't
thing.
find
I couldn't find it. She goes, "So there's a reason why you can't find it. That
the
you weren't."
reason why you can't find it. Mhm. Your babies are going to be happy with you. Your babies are going to be so thankful because the rest, see, the hair is not getting the rest with the retightenings. And I don't care how many women I've seen, once they get to a certain point, it's going to thin here and it's going to thin here. And
Yeah.
if you think about it, when they're doing the retightenings, this is the area that's getting the most stress based upon how they're standing over your head.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is why it's happening in this area, as far as I'm concerned. In addition to the fact that we aren't heeding the call from the divine. This is the crown. This
Yes.
is a serious spot right here.
Um,
We're not heeding the call, we're not listening to our intuition, and we're not taking inspired action off the sinking ship.
yeah. Yeah. That is so true. God heard me when I sent that when I my last birthday. It's like, man, I don't want to do this, but they're just thinning and I didn't see a
I
way to
can't imagine.
turn it around. I didn't see a
Yeah,
way to turn it around.
because you can get so far that if you don't really just stop and pivot, you won't be able to turn it around because the constant, even with the women that have sent me tons of pictures of massive hair growth after using I Am Melanin Magic, to sit back down again and keep, it's like you're getting the hair growing back. You're giving it the nutritional supplementation that it needs, but you're not giving it the rest that it needs so that your hair, your whole new journey can gain traction and your hair can really just be bountiful again. We can't keep harming it.
Mm-mm.
We can't. The body is going to eventually say no. When the environment becomes toxic, we get cancer. We deal with other things that are to alert us that we're out of balance. The energy field is congested. The hair should be no different.
Mm-mm.
It's no different. And when you think about it, Angela, some of this is just we don't know. But in other cases, it's people who are watching they see the hair loss firsthand and they're not able to come up with a solution, or they don't want to acknowledge it, or it's tied to their pocketbooks.
Oh,
So it's
yeah,
got to come from us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And because I was willing to just let it go so far, Melissa shared that for some, and it just was so that if the once the follicles are damaged enough to where there's not any hair coming in, because she said sadly that sometimes the hair loss has been so extensive for some people that even she can't help them. And so when I had to, of course, you sent a video of your hair. And when she saw that I had some new growths coming in, she goes, "Yeah, you can turn that around." But I'm just so glad that I didn't go another year and get to the
Oh, yeah.
point to where I was past the point of no return. And
That
then
would have been,
those
yeah.
people that are the locticians that are seeing this thinning from, like you said, it's tied to their pocketbooks and they don't have a solution. And
It's a conflict of interest for them to stop and to lead their sheep in another direction. It's a conflict of interest. And some of them just don't have the formative thinking skills to put two and two together.
no,
And so it's easy because it always is go see your dermatologist, go see the trichologist, but come back and sit down in the chair.
yes. And that's
And
exactly
because we're smiling and we have a good relationship and we're smiling, we think it's okay.
yeah, yeah. It's the tide has to shift, particularly if you want to continue to rock the look. Like I said, I could rock a small afro if I wanted to. My preference, no, no.
Yes.
And not after, even, I'm telling you, after I
The
had
investment,
almost the investment, I had nine almost, because I grew all of my perm out under a weave. I had nine, almost 10 inches of natural hair when I got mine installed back in '09. It was
uh-huh,
not cheap.
I know. And some of these installs now are starting at 2,500 to over $3,000. A lady just told me that she's paying 500 for each retie in New York. 500, and they're going up. And here is something like when we signed up for this, I know for me, this is a lifestyle. I'll take these out when I'm in my wheelchair or whenever I can't do anything with it anymore and it hurts my neck too long to sit up in a chair for a few hours. But I had a long range plan. I didn't expect to be taking these out.
No, me either.
Most people get this style because they want to rock it for as long as they can. So our job is to keep it healthy.
Yes, yes. No intentions of having to going, and even the process of getting to the decision was something I stumbled into. Like I said, I knew what I wasn't going to do. So then it opened up, okay, so what do you do? And stumbled into it. But no, I had no intentions of ever doing anything else because it's so easy. I mean, really, truly, I don't, I've got a little bit today, but I have to, and I remember back dating in Atlanta in '09, and I had this one guy make the comment, I don't date Loc sisters. I went, you haven't met me, darling. Because
Keep
if
it
you
moving,
get an
baby.
opportunity to meet me, if the last thing you're going to be thinking about is my hair being locked. I rock this all day, baby. What?
He doesn't mess with locked sisters. Well, baby, you locked out. Bye.
Hello? I was like, oh,
I
dude.
know we got more substance than all the other ones.
Next. And you know how, and the thing that's so crazy, even, and I hate to say it, we define, when we're comfortable in our skin, we define the narrative. We do. There was a time when that might have been the convention to not do it. Back now, trust me, I get a lock stalker on the regular. I always pick up a lock stalker even now. When I first started in '09, when the Sisterlocks wasn't as popular, people didn't know what it was. I could feel like our hair is antenna. I could feel when someone was zooming in on me, and I'm like, oh, incoming. I think I got a lock stalker, and I'm friendly enough. You can come up and approach me and ask questions, but I literally would be walking through the mall, and I was like, okay, this person's.
You can feel, you can feel the energy. You really can feel the energy.
Oh, definitely. Very, very sensitive. Even now, um, I can feel when people are throwing their energy my way, and
Mhm.
which is it's a good thing. So it allows me to be in my skin. Not that I walk in fear. I don't walk in fear, but when I'm in an environment where things are shifting and changing,
Think or
something happened with the internet
reconnecting.
connection.
Uh-oh.
Is
Lost
that
you
me
for a
or
second. You said it allows you to be in your.
it just allows me to just be comfortable in my skin and navigate because I know my aura. I know it could be my locks. I know that if something's coming my way, I'm going to sense it. I'm going to sense it long before it gets to me. And even when people are looking and zooming and who is that? Who is she? I pick up on it pretty quickly.
That's interesting. And see, people don't realize our locks are antennas.
They are.
These kinks in our hair, being near the equator, that was a major way that we receive enlightenment through our hair. We receive messages and channeling energetically. So to strip a people of identification with their hair and to make them feel that they have to do everything adverse in order to meet a certain beauty standard when we actually are the standard,
Mm-hmm.
serious piece. Like we really have to examine that. The person who says, I don't date lots of women, then you haven't dated a woman, baby.
Mm,
Not a real one.
no, no,
I mean,
no.
think about that. He's saying, I don't like myself. That's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
That disconnect from self is serious because our hair teaches us when you just let me do me, I'm fine.
Yes, yes, yeah, and it transmits. It really does. Like I said, I'm a CPA accountant, and I had people say, "Oh, if you do that, you're never going to get another job." And I went, "What are you talking about? What?" I had no concept of that. I was like, when you meet me, whole package me, that's not an issue, and it's never been an issue. It's
Yeah.
never ever been an issue.
You
If
know what I
anything,
think it was? In our world, our belief systems are what construct our reality. You had no frame of reference for that. You were not going to accept that. So your reality conformed to that. If we believe in problems, we're going to have problems. You were like, oh no, I know who I am. This is beautiful. I feel beautiful. Of course, I'm not going to have a problem.
and I
Wow.
and I haven't. And in environments where you would think there would be an issue, not an issue. Like no,
And I know I've had tons of people from other cultural groups,
mm-hmm.
white included, Caucasians, to come up on my hair and marvel. This
And
one lady said one day while I was down here in the middle of the boondocks, and when I say boondocks, you know what type of boondocks I'm talking about. And it was like, wow, I wish I could do that with my hair. Your hair is so beautiful
all the time,
all the
all
time,
all the time, all the
all
time.
the time.
Not that you do that for that, but to think that you, if you had listened to the negative static,
Yes.
not followed your heart, to be
Yeah.
in this space now,
Yeah.
which I've never had that kind of personality. It's like move out the way. I say once my pupils get dilated, move. It's a when question, not an if question. I need you to move. Just give it to me.
I
Move out,
know that's right.
right?
I know that's right. And
Um,
for that, I give the respect to Dr. Cornwell for
that,
putting us on the map and to helping us to see the beginnings of hair abundance and making that something that we could embrace at the level that we were able to embrace it. And were it not for her, we wouldn't have Miss Blake's. We
mm-mm.
wouldn't have Melissa because she came through Sister Locks.
With the lights, I loved it. And the thing is, things transition. There's always a phase. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's always a transition and phase. We never stay in the same place. It's not possible. You don't live life staying in the same place and being rooted in the same place. So
Can
while
you say that again and say it very loud? Can you please say that again? Please, I'm so serious.
but life is a beginning and a middle and an end, so you can't stay rooted in the same place and live life. You just can't. It's not possible. So as the things transition, everyone plays their part. That was the part in the transition of the plan of life. And that doesn't mean that because it was and it doesn't continue to work that it was bad. It
Yeah.
was the phase at the time. But the further you go on the journey, things are always going to shift and change. They will. They
I
will. Just
love
like
that stated so eloquently, Angela. It's stated so eloquently. I always say we used to have Woolworths, then Kmart came. And then Walmart came and took Kmart out. Walmart is not going to be around forever.
Something else will come along.
Change is inevitable. It's the one constant in the universe. Change, we have to pivot.
Change. We have to pivot.
So what happens, Angela, when we don't, when we resist change and we don't pivot? What happens?
So stress, um, loss.
Mm-hmm.
So there's four key areas, and people, and this is in my coaching, I help people to kind of see that stress in one area is going to permeate and affect the other areas. So everything, if you really boil everything down that we encounter in life, you can boil any issue that you're dealing with down to four areas. It's going to be something related to your health. It's going to be something related to your money and finances, your wealth, something related to your love and relationships, or something related to your work, how you express in the world. I guarantee you, if you boil everything down to its true essence, it's going to fall into one of those four buckets. So it's very important that you be conscious of what you got going on in those arenas of your life. Because if something is running off the rails in one, I guarantee you it's going to impact the rails in the other areas. So
Yeah.
you need to be conscious of that. So for me, this thing with my hair, of course, it's affecting me and how I'm showing up and how I think I'm looking professional in my world of work. I am an entrepreneur, me stepping out into being my entrepreneurial person. I'm on a podcast. I'm active in a local chamber of commerce here. How I show up, my energy, it impacts everything. My love and relationships. When I feel like I done lost my cute, those days I'm not feeling like I'm cute. Yeah, what? It impacts me. Everything impacts every area. So it's important that you, as best you can, be very, very aware of the things that are running well and things that are running off the rails in those four areas. Got to, got
I
to.
love that. Love that because the Western concept is to break things down into pieces and separate the whole.
Completely all the time.
That's so off the chain. That's why we have all these illnesses today. When you go to acupuncture or when you go to Reiki or when you go to Ayurvedic medicine, we're treating the whole person. We're dealing with the energy. We're getting to the root cause. But we try to separate it and say, oh, this is just my hair. But no, like I'm not on my cue when my hair ain't acting right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling my best. And the fact that I'm not self-loving, what I try to help people to understand, there's a deeper issue with me. I'm settling for something. What about my sense of worthiness? Why is it okay for me to endure pain?
Mm,
Why am I okay with that? That's a deeper emotional,
mm.
transgenerational, traumatic
Oh,
issue. We're talking seriously embedded stuff in
yes,
our community that goes beyond
yes,
the the edifice.
yeah. We're expected to carry the burden. We're expected to have high pain tolerance. Really? We're expected that now that it that hurts everybody else, but it's not supposed to hurt me.
Supposed to hurt me.
Taking in my body. I went to a doctor or dentist once and they jabbed something in my like, hello. Oh,
I hurt too. We have pain too.
did that hurt? Uh, yeah, that hurt. Like, I'm like, do I need to say to you that that hurt me?
The pain is real.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Oh, but
But
another,
that's an important point when you say it's loss, it's self-harm. I mean, like it's so many things. It's we have to look at this holistically.
now one thing that's kind of helped me too, because I think divine timing, uh, everything comes together when it really is meant to. It really does. And so when I was really working through some of the emotions and trying to work through the emotions of this thing that I anticipated was going to end up very negative for me, I started. You've heard of acupressure? I know we've heard of acupuncture
Yes,
pin.
I have
Uh,
acupressure too. I do the
acupressure.
both.
I
Mhm.
do started doing tapping,
Yes,
the tapping,
EFT.
EFT, emotional
Uh-huh.
release tapping. And that one thing, in addition to everything else that has happened along the way, has helped me to be very, very centered now. Like the release that I got or get, because I do it every day now, with the tapping and then having the conversation with you and then having the conversation with I've had this big just
Really.
release on all levels. I
Yeah.
can't explain it because we focus so much again, like I said, those four areas they
Yes.
permeate. So when I got relief in this one area, then I've gotten relief. I'm actually with my clients, I can feel it. I've got more compliments and good feedback from working with my clients. I view my day as a play day. I play with
It's
my I call it
playing.
play.
It's me, girl. Love to wake up.
I love it's like lights, camera, action, baby. Let's go. And
Let's go.
I love, and it's because the clients that I work with are in transition. And so they need my energy in order for them to know that there's a way through, there's a path through. And so I've literally had clients who were just let go and and they didn't see it coming and couldn't talk or couldn't speak. That's where they start.
Traumatized.
And yeah, very traumatized and needing to grieve what was so that we could work together so that they could move forward. We'll talk about talking to myself. I mean, I'm doing that with my clients, but talk about the people who have shown up, you, Melissa, who have shown up for me to be able to move forward, grieve what was, move from what was, and move forward on a new journey. I mean, you talk about a mirror, and that's how I market my services to people. I am a mirror for you to see what you need to be whole and complete in your journey. And guess what? Guess what? I have mirrors all around me helping me to see the path that I need to go on now that affects all the areas of my life. It's huge. It's
It is.
huge.
Because when we're carrying around that deeply embedded emotion, it's deeper than just the locks. It's our hair, the historical context
I
around our hair in general, the struggle. So
Mhm.
we're carrying that emotional debt, that emotional weight. When you begin to let that go, you're actually going to raise in your frequency. You're going to feel better. Your energy is going to be flowing better. Everything that was
Yeah,
blocked as a result of the fear, the
ev-
apprehension, all of that.
everything, everything. My, I feel like my set point, like when I wake up in the morning, my set point is higher. I've never been a coffee drinker, but I can tell in when I wake up, eyes open in the morning, that the level is different. Like my starting point in the morning usually would be wake up, hang on the side of the bed. Okay, let's even get
Might
this.
want to look to see if a lock is on the bed or whatever, you know?
What we got to do to get the engine started? No, no,
Yeah.
no.
You're like, let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. I did my last retie January 26th. And so I'm going to go with the four. I'm going to set up my session to get my training done next month. And I'm just going to let it go and do do what it does. So you wet and oil every day? Your full head, or what do you do?
I've gotten a lot better with spraying my hair with a mist, which I'm going to really get more serious about over the next few months, especially with the summer coming. But my hair is definitely thriving with that because I still will use the magical growth serum in certain areas of my
Mhm.
hair. I still use the magical growth serum and the fearless follicles. I don't oil the length of my hair the way I used to. I was really doing that a lot, a lot, a lot. I don't do that as much, but I do oil my scalp a few times
Okay,
a week.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember.
definitely. And it feels good to be able to do that and not even have to think about it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mhm.
Especially if I were early in my journey and I couldn't see, I was lucky enough to have a loctician who said, I'm a natural hairstylist. I'm not just, I'm a master cosmetologist. I'm not just a Sisterlocks loctician. You need oil in your hair. So I was oiling from
Oh
day one.
wow.
And I'm glad that she got me on that path because there hasn't been a time during my journey where I haven't
Oh
oiled my
wow,
hair.
really? Oh my goodness.
Day one on the install. Because look, you know that book. Do you remember that book, Angela? Everything you need to know
Yes,
when you're pregnant.
yeah.
That's how I was with Sister Locks, except there wasn't a book. But whatever I had gotten in the way of information, it was. I remember when she said she had the bottle and she was getting ready, and I was like, oh, the Sister Locks people say that we're not supposed to oil. And she quickly corrected me and let me know, you have natural hair, and I'm a natural hair, specialist. You
Oh
need oil.
wow. What?
Day one. And then as I gone further in my journey, I said to myself, well, Tanisha, you always needed oil. So what in the heck would make you or anyone else think that we don't need oil? We always needed oil. And actually, when we don't give our hair that extra slippage and give our hair that extra nutritive support, we experience drying, breaking, and flaking, which leads to inflammation, which leads to
Yes,
hair
that makes
loss.
so much sense. So, it's so simple. It's so simple. But it's almost like amnesia, or there's just this mental block to the truth of seeing the truth for whatever that is, or the narrative, or the, uh,
Yes.
it's just, I,
It is, in fact, like amnesia. We forget the
hmm
basics.
hmm
We forget the basics.
We,
Angela, what advice would you give to someone who is starting to see the effects of having been in the Sisterlocks journey for some time and is starting to experience hair loss? What would you say to them?
don't lose faith, which I had there for a minute. I had an intention, but to continue to be open to possibility, because there's no way in the world, even 6 months ago, you could have told me that we would be having this conversation today, and I see a viable option for me to continue to keep my hair going and flowing the way that it's been for so long. So, to not lose faith, to continue to be open, and really, truly, you have nothing to, well, you could lose the rest of your hair, but to take a different journey, to be open to the possibility of something new and different. Life is change, and if nothing else, this journey in and of itself is a testimony to life being changed. Even when the intention when we started was it was going to be forever, never, never, the way that it is.
Yeah,
And it's going to continue to, it's going to morph to a different phase,
yeah, exactly. And we just got to go with the flow,
to go with the flow, and to know that there is always an option and a possibility, and to be open. So from
Yeah,
that space,
there's a solution.
there's
There's
a
another solution. We don't have to be fearful. There's another
always to be
solution.
open, to continue to be open. And I'll be honest with you, I just sort of resigned myself to the path that I did not want to go on. But my intention when we started was this was going to be it from now on. And so that true intention has manifested. And so a lot of times the one thing that people don't realize, that the straight line to an answer is the squiggly line. It's two steps forward, one step back, around to the side, back and forth. We are linearly in our minds wanted to be, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do that. Straight. Life is not a straight line. Life is the
You know
straight
what's
line.
so funny? Oh my God, you just said that, Angela. Do you know a rocket going upwards is off course
All the
90% of the
time.
time? 90% of the time it's off course, but we see it moving. You're always, we see it
Yes,
moving in a straight line, but it's literally
yes.
off course. So you're exactly right. It's the
The
squiggly
squiggly
line.
line is the straight line. And when we accept that and get out of our heads with it, we can appreciate what that brings us. And I have to remind myself, one step forward, one step back, to the left, to the right, and around on the foot, one foot, left foot, right, right. Because that's what it can feel like. But that is the straight line. That
You are so right. It's so like facts. That is so profound because that actually is how life
hmm
is.
hmm all day. All
Angela, is there any kind of deprogramming that you have to do or had to do in order to step into this space with knotted locks?
No, because I got from talking to Melissa, because it was um,
Mhm.
such an emotional thing already. I didn't realize how upset I was about it until I started talking to her about it, and really and seeing the possibility that I didn't have to go down the route that I planned. And so when we started talking about it, I did. I was like ugly cry, not, you know, I lost all my cute because I could, and just in hearing her explain, I could see this is a path. this is a way. This will work. Yes, this will work for me. I just knew it. I just felt it from like head to my toes. Just rooted to the tutor. I felt it as a in
In your
my
heart and
heart, as a
soul.
something that I can do this. We can do this.
So you actually had a healing session
Yeah,
almost,
I did.
huh?
And I told her and I thanked her because I didn't realize how much I was holding in around it until that release. It was like a pressure cooker. That valve release. It was like a valve
Mhm.
release on a pressure
Yeah,
cooker that I didn't realize was a pressure cooker for me until I sensed and could feel the release. That's when I realized how worked up I was about it. Even though I was resigned to the path that I was gonna go on. But until I got that relief valve in the conversation, I didn't realize how worked up I was about it.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Angela, you know we're gonna have to keep tabs on how you're progressing through your journey and would love to have you come back after you've been at this for some time and you getting more acclimated to it. I'd love to have you come back and share updates. Are
Of
you willing to do
course, you
that?
know you got it, darling. You got it. Hey,
Would
you
love that. I would love it. I'm just so grateful you were able to come on today. I want you to also let everyone know again about your work and how they can find you for your coaching services.
So, my name's Angela Curry. I am Coach Curry. I absolutely love helping people on their journey. I do abilities assessments. I help you with your career pathing. I am a holistic life coach, so we talk on everything: health, wealth, love, right work, and put action plans together for you to have something that is viable and doable for you. Some people, they say, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. Well, you know what? It's an investment. It's an investment of time, it's an investment of energy, and it is an investment in you that will pay you dividends for the rest of your life. I have people, and it's not about me, Angela, personality. It's about the God that flows through me that allows me to speak to my clients in a way that they can receive what I say. I move Angela personality out of the way because it's not about me. It's about what is it through my experience, because I have felt like a lot of times that every speed bump and pothole in life I've hit. But that my
Right.
experience of going through the trials and tribulations gives me a patina and a perspective and an outlook that allows me to be able to identify with the journey that my clients are going through and to give them the advice and guidance and counsel. You can take it or not, because I tell them all the time, I am a tree. I am a tree and I'm offering you fruit. You can take that fruit and get nourishment from it today or later. But once you hear once the bell of truth has been rung, you can't unhear it. So you can receive it
Right.
now or you can receive it later. I'm not attached. But people that are really ready to do something different and be open, those are the people that I call them my fractal. Those are the people that are going to be naturally drawn to me and willing to receive a message from me
That's
so
right.
that they
That's right.
can have their life improved and changed in a way that makes a difference. That's my gift. That's my mission.
I love it. And I love that you know why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing here on
Yeah.
this planet. I love that your work is exciting. When you get up in the morning, you feel
Yeah.
energized. And I love that you're feeling more like yourself these days. And you're going to love in a few more months how you're going to be feeling. You might be jumping up out the bed. Like, like you might have a few hikes off your mattress, girl. I'm telling you, it's going to be beautiful.
Relief already. Relief and release already. Just from a
Mm.
conversation already.
Coach
Yeah.
Curry, thank you for gracing us with your beautiful presence today. Thank you for being a model of what it is to pivot when you need to pivot and to allow whatever needs to come into your life to be able to come into your life. And I'm just so glad because, like I told you earlier, through you, so many women are going to be able to step forward and reach out for some of the guidance that they need for a full pivot. They're going to be able to feel more comfortable that they're not alone. They're not alone.
Version 2.0, baby. Version 2.0.
It's version 2.0, baby. I know
Yes.
that's right.
What we're working
Thank you
on.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much, darling.
much.